Hello friends, Veronica Moonlove here, and today I am channeling my inner crone wise woman for today's Scorpio spells and rituals week 1 video. The reason for this, we are quickly approaching Halloween. I thought it would be so much fun to dress up. I love dressing up for Halloween. Halloween's my absolute favorite holiday. Also, I wanted to really tap into what Scorpio means and what they're all about. The biggest thing about Scorpios is they are transformative. They transform into new forms from the past. They get rid of the old to always consistently change and evolve. And so for me, I thought I'd channel and transform into the crone. So let's talk a little bit about Scorpio and some of the things that we can expect this month. So once again, all about transformation. Scorpios are very, very deeply, highly intellectual people. They do a really great job at revealing secrets, revealing the truth, unveiling dark shadows. They're really, really just deeply intuitive people. They're also known as the investigator because they do a really great job of shining a light on the shadow. So, what are we going to focus on this month? Well, because of the transformation that this season brings and the highlighting on our inner work and our shadows, I thought this would be a great time to focus on shadow work. So we're going to focus on shadow work during this time. Now, every week, how I'm going to break it down is we're going to have a prompt. We're going to have a journal prompt. And then we'll have a spell and ritual based upon that journal prompt. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's also going to be great in preparing us for 2022. This is a great time to do shadow work. Really, any water season, Scorpio is also a water sign, is a great time to do shadow work because it gives us the ability to connect with our intuition, but also to be inward, go inward, connect with our intuition, and kind of retreat in this sort of like meditative, spiritual sense. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so week 1 of shadow work for this Scorpio season, we will be focusing on the subject of boundaries, okay? Boundaries is, in my opinion, the one thing that you should consistently reevaluate every single year because you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly changing, and those boundaries are also going to change and evolve. You're also most likely going to meet new people in your life where you kind of have to reevaluate your boundaries. Sometimes you move a specific place that's closer to someone and you kind of have to reevaluate boundaries with those relationships. So boundaries should be something that is consistently reevaluated. Now, what are boundaries? Well, boundaries are ways for us to hold space for ourselves. It holds space for our feelings and our emotions. It helps us feel safe. And also, it helps us to have clear expectations of others and of ourselves. And how do we have clear expectations? Well, it has to come with clear communication. We have to vocalize our boundaries with others in order for others to respect those, and in order for us to feel validated, and for order for us to have space for our own emotions. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about a sweet friend that I had. Her name was Sharon. Sharon, if you're out there, I love you, girl, and you completely changed my perspective on boundaries. But one of the things that she shared with me when I was in my early 20s and I was really, really struggling with boundaries. She said a quote that has stuck with me ever since then, and it is, "You have to teach people how to treat you." I didn't understand what it meant then, but now I understand that it means that I have to vocalize my expectations for my boundaries in order for people to follow through. A lot of times people aren't necessarily breaking your boundaries because you haven't made any, you haven't created any for yourself. So this is why shadow work is so important, because this gives you the ability to go inward, to investigate, to seek out those shadows that maybe aren't necessarily seen by you, or maybe you're not even conscious of them. They're in your subconscious, and you're letting people break those boundaries left and right because you have no idea of what that looks like for you. So this is why we are starting with boundaries. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over our supplies list for what we're going to need. So first and foremost, you're going to need a journal or a notebook. This is going to be your main journal for your shadow work. So if you already have a shadow work journal, feel free to write in that. If you don't have one, I highly suggest you have a journal specifically for your shadow work. And I also highly recommend that you date all of your entries so you can really see the growth process in that. But you're going to need a journal or notebook. You're going to need a pen, obviously, because you're going to need to write. And then you're going to need a black candle. So I have this one right here. It's about 4 inches long. What I like about this one is it consistently burns down. It takes about 4 hours to burn down, and gives you enough space to write on it. You can use a birthday candle. I just don't know if you'll be able to actually write on it. So this is one of the reasons why I recommend this. Also, we want this candle to burn down over time. So I have this little protector candle holder that goes inside. Candle goes inside, and that's basically what I utilize. Now, if you don't have a black candle, white candle is totally fine. Don't stress about the color. The black is really just for that shadow work aspect, but white is a universal candle. So if you want to go with that, feel free to go with that. And then also you're going to need a candle carving tool. I got this at the dollar store, so it's nothing fancy. Really, you just need something to be able to carve into the candle, anything sharp. You can use a pen or a marker. Just keep in mind that you will be burning this down, so you don't really want to inhale whatever you're writing with on it. It might be toxic to breathe that in. So just keep that in mind, which is why I like to carve into it so that I'm not inhaling anything that is dangerous. So let's go ahead and get started with a journal prompt. Okay, so the journal prompt for this week is going to consist of 5 different questions. Now I want you to spend as much time as you need on these questions. They can be 1 to 3 sentences. If you want to write a whole page for each of the questions, feel free to do so. This is really going to depend on what you need to do for your shadow work, and you'll be able to tell if there is a lot there. And what I would ask you to do as well is constantly ask yourself why. When you answer a question, why? Why is that the answer? It will keep you going down the rabbit hole, but it will also really get into the shadow parts and really break down why you're feeling this way or why you're not feeling this way. So let's go ahead and go into the questions. Okay, question number 1. When do I feel like my boundaries are broken? Question number 2. How do I address my boundaries when they are broken? Do I react? Do I ignore? Or do I communicate when my boundaries are broken? Question number 3. What are my expectations of others and myself in order to avoid my boundaries being broken? Question number 4. Who in my life do I need to teach how to treat me? Question number 5. How can I honor my boundaries in the future? Okay, so now that we've concluded our journal prompts, and I want you to spend as much time with that as you need, but once we've concluded that, next we'll go ahead and get into our spell work. So first and foremost, I would like you to meditate, okay? That's going to be step 1. Now, we're going to be dealing with a lot of things that are hidden, and when we do that, when we do shadow work, we can release some trauma, some hidden trauma that we didn't see before. Maybe there's some new realizations, and it can be unsettling, right? So we really want to focus on meditating to connect back with our energy, to connect with our higher self, to ground, but also to heal ourselves. And meditation is a great healing technique. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and Google any meditation. Now, I highly, highly recommend doing a binaural beat meditation. And specifically, I'd like you to do a hertz frequency of 528 hertz. This particular frequency is great for healing. It's going to really just energetically clear out any of that gunk that was kind of brought up during your journaling and during your shadow work journaling. So I'd really like you to just find a meditation that is 528 hertz. A lot of these meditations are like 45 minutes to 2 to 3 hours. You do not have to do the whole meditation. All I ask is that you try to meditate for at least 10 minutes, if possible. If you need to do 5 for time's sake, that's totally fine, but at least 10 minutes is what I'm asking. If you'd like to do more, that's even better. So go ahead and get your meditation, and you're going to find one for 528 hertz. That is the healing frequency. Okay, so step 2. Once you're done with your meditation, I'd like you to take your carving tool or whatever you're going to use to carve into your candle, and I'd like you to carve into your candle, I honor my boundaries. And I promise it fits on there. It might not look like there's a lot of space, but you can make it fit. I have a white candle that I wrote on as a way to kind of display how it's going to look. So it'll look like this: I honor my boundaries. But you're going to do it with a candle carving tool if you have one. Once again, you can use a marker, you can use a pen, and I would highly recommend using a black candle. Like I said, if you don't have one, feel free to use a white candle. It'll be just as fine. So once you do that, then you are going to take your candle holder, and you're going to put your candle inside of it, and you're going to say the following: I honor my boundaries when they are broken, ignored, or unknown. I honor my boundaries when I communicate effectively. I honor my boundaries when I set expectations for others and myself. So mote it be. And then you're going to take your candle and you're going to light it. Now I want you to let that candle burn down. It should take about 4 hours. And what you can do as well is when you have your candle in its little candle holder, you can also put it on like a little bowl, something that's going to protect the wax from coming down. And you can actually put it on top of your journal for which you have written in. And so the candle is essentially kind of, in a way, manifesting that you are going to honor everything that you wrote in that journal. You are going to start setting boundaries for yourself. You're going to start vocalizing when you feel like your boundaries are broken. You are going to honor yourself, is what you are promising to do with this spell work. And that concludes our week 1 of shadow work for this Scorpio season. I'm so excited to dig more deep into this with you. Shadow work is like one of my favorite things to do as a witch, and just for the sake of my healing journey. It's important for everyone to really know thyself, and in order to do that, you have to go very deep. You have to break away the layers, and you have to see what is hidden. So thank you so much for joining me for week 1 during the Scorpio season, and thank you for letting me dress up for the beginning of Halloween. I'm so excited. It's my favorite season. And most importantly, thank you for just continuing to follow me. Once again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything that you want me to focus on within the craft, feel free to comment on this video below. You can like and share. And also, if you'd like to follow me on other social media platforms, you may do so at Veronica_Moonlove on Instagram. And on TikTok, it's a little bit different. I've been saying it's Veronica_Moonlove, but it's actually, it has 2 underscores. So it's Veronica__Moonlove. And I'm on TikTok on that platform as well. So with that said, I just want to say thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Have a spooky day.